Big up, big up, big up, and welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. I am the Liverpool 12th Man, and I am joined today by the Irishman. How you doing, Irishman?
Very well, very well.
Very well, very well, very well. I hope you're doing well out there too. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to say something?
No, no, you got no. I was
Oh,
just
okay,
saying
okay.
box.
I was going to say I hope that you're doing well out there too, despite the fact of Arsenal
Hey,
apparently.
John.
Yep, they just went final not too long ago. 2-0 victory for them, unfortunately. So it is what it is. It's kind of funny that he has no end product. You could say that possibly for Ollie Watkins today. I mean, guy had he had an open goal, went wide, had a absolute sitter for a header, ended up heading it right back into the middle of the goal, and the goalkeeper makes a save on it. Yeah, and then it got a little bit kind of a little sloppy. I guess you could say for Villa's part, they didn't really keep a hold of the ball really at the end of the game, so kind of let one slip out of their hands where they possibly should have come up with some type of result from this one. But we move.
Big season for the Villa.
It is a
Without
big
a doubt.
season. It is a very big season. Yeah, I agree with that completely because they have quite a bit holding on their shoulders this year, and it's going to be interesting how they navigate being in the Champions League this year. I think so.
Yeah.
Should be very, very interesting. Big up to John Conway. Big up to Redbird. Big up to MK Toad
Yeah.
in the house. Big up, guy. Big up.
Yeah.
Big up to
Redbird,
anyone that's hasn't commented, but is still just chilling, maybe just on your drive, or maybe you're at work, or at lunch or dinner or something like that. And you know what, Edward?
We can.
That was a show that we were supposed to do. That was a show. I wanted to do that. I wanted to go into not only the new format and kind of explain how it all works, but also with the I'm gonna go blank on the name of what they call it now, where like how they rank the clubs, Um,
What seedings or
no, it begins with a C. I can't think of
coefficient?
coefficient. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So like explain that a little bit deeper and get
Hey, how's
into kind of because it is interesting how they do rank that and how it puts you into like certain pots in essence, and different groups, I guess you could say, and that like dictates the different teams that you'll play in the whole like format. It's a very interesting format coming up this year. One that I hope that we take advantage of actually.
Oh yeah, armchair.
Oh, big up Red Armchair, excuse me, supporter. I like how he's got the new name. I'm so used to seeing YouTube name lately, but now with Red Armchair supporter, I like it all the same. Hash, big up to you, Hash, big up to you.
I don't like
We
armchair
are,
actually. I think I'll just stick with red. I think I'll just stick with
yeah,
red actually.
yeah, big up to Red. Yeah,
Yeah. So if I say red, I'm talking to you.
yeah, or you can say Ross. I'll say Ross too, since it's Red Armchair supporter, so RAS Ross. I like Ross. Even though if the streets gets into the chats, he might think I'm talking about him too. So who knows?
Yeah. Oh, the streets will arrive.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Ross the Red and says Slot said he believes in the squad. Do you think he wants to see how he gets on with what he has then recesses in January? Uh, Big up to Jimmy, by the way. Big up to Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
I couldn't say it any better, Red. Uh, for real, like I know I got into somewhat of some. I was talking backstage with Brian. I got into some heated exchanges on the Beijing Reds Friday Night Lime, as they call it.
Never.
Yeah,
Never.
yeah,
Who would have thunk it?
yeah. Well, I mean, it's appropriate. It is appropriately titled Lime because there were certainly some sour pusses on there. There were certainly some sour people on on the panel and chat. But big up to Alexander, big up to Realism Jared, big up to all you guys. But why I'm saying what I want to say, and I'll give Brian his take too. I really think that the whole Slot's just saying that he wants to assess the team because he's a company man, or or he knows he should know what this team needs or this or that. Sometimes you like to see the players in person. Sometimes you want to see it with your own eyes. You want to get an actual conversation with and develop a relationship so you understand if the player's able to break down what you're trying to tell him, if he's on board with the message and vision that you have for the team, and if you really believe in that player can fulfill what you're putting in front of them. And I agree that I know Lee said it early, and I know Brian definitely co-signed on it, and I am open to believing that we could, or open to understanding that we might wait until the January window to assess this team properly, because this team is a good team. If it can stay healthy, it is an excellent team. But it's a matter of staying healthy, and that's the big question mark. So if we can get by that, it'd be great. But I mean, I'm hoping that he does do what he can do with his team and believe. But we might see some late window transfers. I mean, it's not like it would be the first time we saw FSG or Liverpool bring in a late window transfer acquisition. Do you have a take on this, Brian?
Yeah, it's not quite as positive, but it's like my old failsafe. It's like, well, what else would he say? Mm-hmm. He's not going to come in and say this squad is trash, this squad is useless. That we,
exactly.
We need we need a ton of surgery. If I don't get 4, we forget about Europe. He's come in and said, look, this is top quality squad. Said what he said from day one. Only needs 1 or 2. Hi, Bernie. Only needs 1 or 2 bits and pieces. So it was never an overhaul. It was never a complete rebuild. We're doing all the background stuff, which is fine. Like I said, we're moving on, getting rid. Don't take that pejoratively. We're getting rid of players that aren't really part of the future plan. So that's all good. And of course, he's going to come in and say, look, I'm really, really happy with the squad. But he's also come out and said that he wanted one. Right. So we'll watch and see. And if we don't get it, we'll keep our fingers crossed, because no club stops buying players. Every club will keeps going. We will bring in new players eventually. It will happen eventually, whether it happens in time for some people. But for me, I'd want 1 or 2 in before the window closes. But he's kind of come in and said, look, it's not being a yes man. He was going to say that, because that's the fact. Like, if you wake up tomorrow morning and you've only got X amount of food in the cupboard, well, you're going to be happy with that, because you're not getting, that's it. That's all you're getting, so he's going to say that to a degree, but he'll also be keeping an eye on his phone. I think from Michael Hughes, waiting for a text say, come into the training ground. We've got something on the boil here. But again, I think it would be
right.
It'd be a nice way of doing it. I mean, again, it'll blow everyone's not blow everyone. Certain people will get angry at me going, well, fuck it, let's just run it then, I mean, if we're not going to be able to do it, then let's just go with what we have and streamline it a bit, which is what we're doing. Get a nice tight squad together. Everyone knows what their job is. Everyone knows that they're part of the team. Not this Chelsea stuff with 470 players out there. We've got a tight squad, and then we can reassess it. It's not ideal, of course it's not. But I'm happy to go with what we have. And sometimes that brings the best out of, players that might not have been used previously. I'm just looking for silver linings on it. So
I think that, and also, what I like too, and this is something that I just like when sometimes players take opportunities and make the most of them, and and you're able to witness it, in essence, like.
But just like we said last night,
I was going to say, I'm sure most of us didn't think that Kwanzaa was going to be a surefire player that could possibly be a starter on this team. Not many of us had that being, he would surmount Konate's place as being the preferred starter on this club, but we witnessed that. There were times when I heard people last year saying that Bradley should start.
Yeah.
I heard at times last year when I heard Bradley should start over possibly one of the best right backs in the world in Trent Alexander-Arnold.
That was going a bit far, wasn't it? The Bradley fever got to some people a bit much, didn't it? They were like, sell him. We don't need Trent. We have Bradley. Just calm down there. Calm down there.
Yeah, I was just like, whoa, wait a minute.
We've got the best in the world.
Bradley's play, but hey, let's pump the brakes.
Yeah. The baby with the bathwater,
Yeah.
We like I said last night when we were doing that thing where the guy had the players and everything. I just love the fact that we've got one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world, and then being backed up by one of the best young right backs in the world, one of the best up and coming. I think it's perfect. I just love that we have, because they're almost interchangeable in terms of the attacking output if you lower the level of the team that you're playing against, So, but it was just like when we did the VVD thing and we were laughing at your man putting in Trent or Nat Phillips, but that is kind of where we are. So we do need to have a double double fingers crossed for VVD if we don't sign anybody. So
right. And don't get twisted. I think we all would like to see, quality players brought to the team. Absolutely. I think one of the things I tried to express intimately was that, like, when you try to have this conversation about plan B, as they put it, because it was so funny, like everyone brought up, we never have a plan B. We never have a plan B. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. We went for Caicedo. We went for Lavia, which could be arguably plan B, but we went for both of those players and ended up getting Endo and ended up getting a comparable DM for, who definitely played a valuable portion of the season for us, or a part in the season last year. Now, is that the end all be all in the sense of saying Endo is the DM for the future going forward? No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that he played a part last year, and he was a decent stopgap, as people like to put, for that position at the time. It's just a matter of, like, sometimes you hear these like takes and you're just like, they're somewhat disingenuous with the way that they go about the things. They talk about, we're depending on Gravenberch and blah 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 and all that stuff about being the DM, and then comparing him to I don't know, Lavia, and comparing him to all these different like players or Tuchemeni was brought up in one point, and I'm just like, Gravenberch wasn't even with the team when we went for Tuchemeni, It's like, let's get a little sense of, like, pushing the misinformation aside and kind of like have an honest conversation. That's all.
Look, I mean, sometimes I know language can be, I was triggered last night by someone using the word hate in terms of one of my opinions, and I've never said that word about anybody. There can be a difference of opinion just because you don't rate somebody as much, but a stopgap sounds a bit like, I'd say more like a temporary. It
can sound harsh. Yeah, basically. Words can sound harsh.
A temporary hire, basically.
Right.
A guy come in, he can do a job. Like, you don't get to come to Liverpool as some kind of joker pick. Like, you have to be able to, even an Endo that comes in and is a temporary hire, stopgap, whatever you want to call it. You still have to be at a level to play for Liverpool Football Club. We don't just bring in randomers and buy them. Nobody had ever, most people hadn't heard of the guy, but we brought in a guy. We brought in a guy that's pretty much. Yeah, look, he's not in someone's plans now. I
didn't say comparable. I said comparable. But
no, but he was good enough.
Yeah,
he was good enough to do the job for you.
Served the purpose and like served the role that we needed him. It wasn't like it was a negative to have him in the position. It wasn't like, we're better off just playing someone else instead of utilizing Endo.
He could get on the pitch.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You don't get on the pitch for your organization. Okay, is he the best player we've ever bought? Absolutely not. Of course he isn't. I mean,
Right.
there's
Exactly.
20
Yeah.
players we bought that are better
Right.
than Endo. Does that
Right.
make? I mean, but how
Does that
many
make him a
players
bad
are
player?
able to? Yeah, how many
Right.
players are good enough to be signed by Liverpool in the first place by Klopp?
Right.
You know. So, but again, yeah, he is the guy that for me is the one that is. He's the one that gets upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your kind of main guy in the squad, your main transfer in the squad. But this is all
Mm-hmm.
very surgical and precise now at the moment in what we need and what we want. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not a scattergun approach. And if you don't have a scattergun approach, you have that laser guided approach, then you're not going to get linked with loads of names and be trying to
Right.
bring in loads of people.
Right. And I
So
can get that too. The argument was put out there like, oh well, Liverpool have gone into the market to get a six. Um, went into the market multiple summer windows. They've gone into the market to acquire a six, and albeit they've gone into the market to acquire a six, meaning that obviously they're trying to replace the high quality world class at 1.6 that we had in Fab. Pick up the Quasi, my guy.
someone
Um,
smuggled a phone in, Quasi, did they?
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
don't
So,
get don't get caught with a phone
don't get
inside,
caught
Quasi.
with the
No,
contraband, right?
you might end
It's
up in
all
the
good.
hole, man. You might end up in the
I
hole.
I put enough money on his books that he can make calls, so it's all good. It's all good. but we have tried to go into the market to get a six. That's what I'm trying to get across. And I get that we have
Incidentally, before you
right.
move on from that,
Good.
had we gone and landed that 100 million Caicedo deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just say he had swerved Chelsea and gone, yeah, I'll take some of that crop love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously it's just hypothetical, but I mean he's not a Zubamendi type.
Right. No, he's not.
Do you know what I'm getting at? I mean,
Oh, I get.
he's more of a
I've. You put that conversation up. You put that argument into the conversation, and people all of a sudden scramble and start throwing out scatterbrain like style like deductions because you're right. Not like a good majority. Like some of these players or some of these DMs we've gone for have been different styles of DMs, and on top of that, this coach utilizes the six a little bit differently than originally Klopp did, and even when
yeah.
Klopp adjusted and was trying to, transition into a more Zubamendi style, if you want to call it that, kind of like a controller style six. That's what I'm calling it, at least now. I'm calling it a controller. I think like what I like to look for, where I think that this coach or this club is going with direction with the six, is having a player that control tempo, can control the ball. As in, you can give him the ball whether it's from one box and he can progress it from box to box, but also be able to progress it through his dribbling or progress it through passing. And I think that you can see that Gravenberch has those skills. So that's why I think he could be a good controller for our six. Not a destroyer, not a destroyer, not a because
No, we know,
they'll
we
bring
know.
up Ederson.
You're in.
They'll bring up
You're in the
bring
grown
up
ups, right?
they'll bring up
You're in the grown
Koopman.
ups
He
right
doesn't
now.
even really play a six really anymore in his career. He used to be he played
But
six at one point, but doesn't really play a six. He plays more like an eight. Like
but
go ahead.
just with what Pops is saying there, he said last season we would have won the league with Caicedo. Now, I think that's a shout. It's a very big shout.
It's a very big shout for sure.
It would have. I was all for the what would you call it? The reuniting of Caicedo and McAllister because, as Pop
Yes,
said
because
there,
we've seen the success they've had.
they they
Yeah.
had at Brighton. So now, yeah, I was being a little bit kind of just I don't know what's the word, mischievous with that. I have absolutely no doubt that if we had bought £100 million, 110 million Caicedo last year, Arne Slot wouldn't be sitting there going, "What do you want me to do with this guy?" He would definitely know how to use him and get a
Right.
player out of him. I don't doubt
Right.
it at all. But I'm
Right.
just wondering if he was on the market now, uh, would Slot want the Caicedo for this role? I'm not sure
Mm.
if he would. Now this is
I don't
just
think
getting
he
into the
would.
weeds on it. This is getting into the weeds on it. Would he be the main type of role? Yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah, Lazo, or I'm calling myself Lazo. Pops, yeah. I know, yeah. No, I know. I was kind of trying to. I think he definitely could. I'm reading Pops's points. Yeah, they are. It's his points that I'm making out loud.
Mhm.
I just think it would have been interesting to see what how Slot would use Ace Saido in this, because he
Right,
can kind of do more than just that. But I don't really like people. Like, it really annoyed me when. I mean, it really freaking annoyed me way more than it should when after 2 games or 3 games, like when Lavia was injured when he went to
right,
Chelsea and he got injured and he was sitting in the
right.
stands and people were like, "Oh, we dodged a bullet on him." So what the hell are you
I,
talking about?
yeah,
What
yeah.
the
I know,
hell
I
are
know,
you
I know,
talking
I
about?
know, I know,
He
I
could
know.
still turn out to be an excellent footballer. You
So
know
can
what I mean? But
Lavia. Lavia could be
no,
turn out
that's
to be
what
an
I'm talking
excellent.
about, Lavia.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, Lavia. People say,
Oh,
"Oh, we dodged a
I was
bullet
gonna
on
say
Lavia."
Casado too. Well,
Oh yeah, they
Casado. Well,
both.
Lavia was more with the injury, but like Casado could
Exactly.
turn out
That
to
was my.
be,
That's what I was
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
no,
yeah,
sorry, that's what I was saying. He was injured, and people are like, "Oh,
yeah,
we dodged a bullet on him." It's like the guy hasn't even played yet. Just
right.
because he's gone to Chelsea, they're, "Oh, we dodged a bullet." So, like, I wouldn't. It's kind of like United at the moment. Like, any player that went there or went and they were like they looked like shit, I wouldn't really judge it too hard because it's Chelsea. Like, there's a lot of really good players have gone there and look like absolute dog turd. The same with Man United. It's they're bad, broken clubs. So this idea that, oh, look at him, oh, we dodged a bullet, he hasn't been very good or he's been injured. I don't know. I think he would have been probably pretty good if he come to Liverpool.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
same with Timo Werner. I always thought Timo Werner would have worked under Klopp. Like, he had a complete disaster at Chelsea. I thought he probably would have worked well at our club. Klopp would have gotten the best out of him. You just sometimes you go to a different club.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Um,
work out.
yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't necessarily always work out. And and again, you have to have play sometimes when you go for these players, you have to have players that buy the into the direction of what the club wants. Like, as in, some players are going to get there and they're not going to do what you hear Trent say, where he goes, wherever the gaffer puts me, I'll play there. You know what I mean? Some players are like, you either play me at this position or you don't play me at all and you move me on.
Yeah.
You know, so like, yeah, I'm interested to see what we can get from these players that I believe more so than not. I mean, winning certainly has an incredible effect on you when it comes to like improving your confidence in the team or in the vision that you're putting your worth into. Um, so I'd like to see that actually be put to question here.
Yeah, and Mount, just quickly, Pops was saying Vernon Gallagher, Mason Mount too. I think Pops. I think he would have been an absolutely brilliant player for Klopp. Perfect Klopp midfielder.
But again, Mason Mount has not he's not been pulling up trees when it
Yeah,
comes to
you go to United.
his time at United. He looks,
That
again,
transfer was just
he's a
wrong from the
coach.
start. It just looked wrong from the start. It was like he's going where?
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
Brian too. There was so like I remember I met my he called himself, I think, Doctor Doom. He called himself or something like that. Like one of my arch nemesis, Mike Doss on Beijing Reds show, and he was bringing up how like he's bringing up the fact that he doesn't think he's like a new coach isn't going to make a team play better, and it's not going to do it's not going to make
Hey there.
I was like, what are you talking about? That's a silly comment. Of course,
Yeah,
a new coach is going to make a team play better. He can make a team play worse. In that,
yeah,
whatever he's trying to make the team play or do as a tactician is going to have an impact on the abilities or what you see on the pitch with the players. So I was just like kind of like a head
but
scratcher as to the take that was going with. But he was trying to
yeah,
say basically
no.
that that
Without new players, kind of thing. Without
right. He was just
transfer
basically
money.
trying to say that the new coach was going like as in if you think this new coach is all of a sudden going to bring about like an improvement on like availability, an improvement on like on their fitness and
Well,
on
he
their
can't
play
do
on the
anything
pitch.
about
I
that.
was like, I think it will like different practice mechanisms that they utilize. the intensity that they call for on the pitch, whether it's during training or on the actual pitch, the presence of like how you're trying to become more of a controller, controlling formation as opposed to a high intense, always press. It's not necessarily like as in the way that we press now is we certainly still press, but we press in a different format in how we press. We try to like force we give the time from the force the second pass and then press. It's like an interesting process. I've actually watched quite a bit of different breakdowns on how the tactics are being done by some of the stations and channels that you recommend out there often as well. So
yeah, there's like I was someone was asking me last night, like Trap Joe, he was saying like why he said why don't you talk about tactics? And I was saying, look, I used to be a lot more into tactics. I was never a big tactics guy, but I was a lot more into it. But these days, because the tactics and coaching and all that and everything that goes into it has become so more kind of, high tech, and there's a lot more to it and there's a lot more involved in it. I just kind of I'm not really able to get to it at that level, so I just don't really talk about it, mainly because there's so many better people out there that know so much more about it and understand it much better than I do. And not even guys, people that are in the chats, people that come on channels. So I kind of just have drawn back a little bit from it, because some of the people out there, if you get into a conversation with it, you realize you'll be in a conversation with someone who really knows what you're talking about. And for me, I don't really want to get too deep in it. I like it, but I don't want to get too kind of deep into it, because some of the stuff that they do these days, people can be talking, oh no, this isn't when we counter press, that's when we counter press, and we do it from this zone and that zone. So okay, cool, I'm out. It's like
yeah. No, it's very interesting, like how a lot of sometimes even the actual like visions that they have or the actual tactics that they're used can change. It can kind of like change on the fly at times. With some coaches.
I like watching the breakdowns. I like watching the breakdowns of it and knowing myself what's going on, but I don't like getting into kind of detailed discussions.
I feel you. You know what, Brian? You know what I enjoy most is like when people or some of the breakdowns that I watch, or some of the breakdowns like the master classes that I watch sometimes, when they point out things that you might not have really recognized, or maybe they point out things that the camera, like the actual television camera that you're, the feed that you're watching, the parts and points that you don't get to see. I remember you talked about how there used to be on one of the channels that you watch over there, how that you could do like it showed you multiple angles of the pitch. You know what I mean? And you could get like like the full vision of the pitch, or you could possibly get like a more focused.
Like a player cam, you could get player cam and all that stuff. Yeah.
I like when that is brought, because that answers a lot of questions of like, how did that space open up? What did that player do to create, to get past his guy? What did, like, because like you might see the on the ball progress, but a lot of the off the ball work is important, and people don't really sometimes give that credit. That's unfortunate.
But this is the thing, there's also so many people out there, like Pops was saying, everybody now is an accountant and this and that. But there are also a lot of people also out there on YouTube who they only watch small parts, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what most people used to be. They just used to watch the game on a Saturday. There was no internet, there was no media world all around, whether it was papers, but the way it is now, it's football 24/7. Most people just watch the game at the weekend, and that was it. They didn't really know about the training and the tactics and all of that. So they really there's still a lot of people out there that they just they don't have time. They're busy lives, busy jobs, and football isn't their be all and end all. So they just want to watch the game and have a chat about it. They just want to watch the
game, enjoy it,
and have a chat about it.
Right.
Yeah,
watch the game and be entertained, and and then If not, then you'll certainly hear about it. But I agree. I'm one of those guys. Last year, I used to do Tactics Tuesdays, and like break down a lot of the stuff because I enjoyed figuring out like how our team was developing, what was making our team win or get from point A to point B in the progression of the year. I thought it was important. So, and I like sharing those kinds.
That's why you need the balance. That's why you need the balance. Like you can't have like something that's just all, it's tactics and stats and tactics and stats. Like I think stats are there. Like you just said it. Like for me, stats are there to answer questions. They're not there to tell you what this. So if it's like you're looking at some guy or you're looking at something going, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that. Hang on, let me look at the numbers on this, and then the numbers can inform you. You know what I mean? I don't. It's not the whole eye test stat. It's like for me, stats are there to answer questions. They're not something that you show me the stats. Show me the stats. Show me the stats. No, look, come on. I want as I've gotten older, especially doing this show, I've just gotten more into my focus now is learning as much as I can about the history of the game and things that have gone beyond to kind of inform how we've gotten to where we are. Because we didn't just arrive here yesterday. We really didn't. There's everything is a process, and I want to know how we got to where we are and why we are. Like the most perfect example is the Thierry Henry handball against Ireland, leading to FIFA speed running VAR into the game. Things like that, like how we got to where we are is what really interests me now. And watching the game, of course. But that's me, because like I say, if I want to talk tactics and all that, there's people I listen to and go, look, I'll go to Tifo or I'll go to someone else and go, these are the boys I because they'll educate me. I can't educate anybody when it comes to tactics. I can maybe throw in some random trivia and things you haven't heard before. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to teach anybody anything.
I feel you. I appreciate the show, as Pop said earlier. I did appreciate the show, the opportunity to be online for certain aspects alone, and primarily because some of the conversations that we had were shows that I wanted to do, but we've been putting them on the back burner for a little while. And we haven't gotten to them. One of the shows I wanted to do was, I'm stating it now, is that I wanted to do basically because I keep hearing this whole like, and again, this is why I tell you, Brian, why I brought that word ambition up on Room 101. I keep hearing this word ambition thrown about so freely. Ambition's associated to pretty much everything that you hear when it comes to this team, the owners, when it comes to the players, when it comes to even the fans at times, and the follow-up to that word was how Arsenal is an ambitious club and how they are the definition of what ambition is. And I was just like, oh, okay, I guess. I mean, like, this is the same Arsenal that, like, hasn't won anything in the last, I don't know how many years has it gone on now, because they haven't won a trophy. The only trophy
I think Lost was still on the TV the last time they won something. I think maybe like season 2 of The Office, the original, something like that.
There you go.
Bill Clinton. I'm thinking Bill Clinton, Bush. That's what I'm thinking.
Possibly, like if it comes to a real, like a title, yeah, like like the Prem title or something like that, yeah. I mean, obviously they've never won, and they've never won a European campaign when it comes to like the Champions League. So, so yeah,
I think it's
but that's ambition.
Impressive. Yeah, what's ambition? 34 million on Mickey Marino.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what it is?
Tell me more about ambition. I swear, some of the conversations get pretty funny. Pretty funny. But yeah, I do have some really, really cool cool shows to bring into the works, I think, because of these conversations, because often, facts are just that, they're facts. And it's one of the facts is that Arsenal until late they've definitely raised their amount of money they've spent on the team, but that is that they're taking a big gamble, taking a huge gamble on them winning, progressively getting to a place where they win the title and actually increase their, because they primarily, and I'm not going to give away the whole entire show, but primarily they focused or were reliant on ticket sales as being one of their biggest revenue makers. That sounds weird, but it really was.
No, that's why they built that stadium.
Yeah.
That's why they built.
And then they had to pay it off. So they took a big gamble by building a big stadium, and then they had to pay it off, right? And then they had, it's like, it's interesting when you hear the ambition thing. Sometimes when people try to break down the numbers, I'm like, I don't think I'm like, and I'm not saying that I'm some like, accountant or something like that, but I've actually seen and been humble enough to listen to those that do know and hear how it is broken down to understand. Oh, now I get it. That kind of way.
But the thing that always kind of I found funny, and it isn't funny. I thought they did something that we couldn't do for a long time.
They did.
But they had this whole thing about finishing fourth was the main thing, because basically Wenger said to those guys, or those guys said to Wenger, look, we're going to build our own stadium and we're going to pay for it, which means you can't buy players, basically, right? For like 20 years nearly. Mm-hmm. And he was like, right, okay, cool. He kind of signed up for that. He went with that. And no one's ever really done that that much. But their whole thing was they always qualified for the Champions League. They went from being Vieira and Bergkamp and Henry, putting it up to United, to being, we're going to do this, and once that's done, it's going to be 10 years of hurt, but then we'll be super cool after that. They always qualified for the Champions League. That was their whole thing. But I've never known a club, any club, and I'm not slagging them off, but that's qualified for the Champions League so often and been in there so many times that's had so little impact on the club. That's such a big, not even to go, I mean, they got that one final against Barcelona, and that's pretty much it. They have, their European Cup history is comedically thin. It would be hard. It's almost difficult to have this level of, not even a couple of other final appearances on top of what they've had, just absolutely nothing. One of the biggest clubs in England, and their inability to even get near it. Like Chelsea shamed them. Mm-hmm. Like Chelsea have won more. Chelsea have won, I don't like saying it, but they've won some European Cups. It's not nice to say, but I mean, Arsenal's inability to even touch the sides when they had that great team, Vieira, Bergkamp, Henry. It's just strange. I don't know what it is. I always joke, I just said they're allergic to Europe. They are just allergic to the European Cup. They just are. There's something about it. There's something about it.
I hope that their allergy continues. I hope their allergy. And let me just say this. My disdainment for the Gooners, as Pops was just putting out there, is primarily because if you ever talk to a Gooner will try to educate.
I still call them Gunners, by the way. I still call them Gunners. I don't know when they started calling themselves Gooners. I still call them Gunners. To me,
okay. Gunners, Gooners, whichever is your preference.
Gooners means something very, very different these days, just in case anyone didn't know.
I don't know what that means, but okay. Well, what I was before we get like censored, I was just going to say that my disdainment for Gooners or Gunners is because when you talk to an Arsenal supporter, often they will try to sun you, as we say here on the side of the pond. They will try to basically like speak in a way that as if Arteta is reinventing football. They'll speak to you as if Arteta's won multiple titles. They'll speak to you as if Arteta is even at the time was at the same level as a Klopp. They'll speak to you as if Arsenal is on the same level of a Liverpool. And it's like, where are we at with this conversation? Or am I like, which did I do a quantum leap or something and fall back into like 2004 or something? Or, like where, what are we talking about here? This is false equivalencies do not equate to a good conversation. That's at least how I look at it. But it is what it is, I guess. Big up.
Fair play, Pops. He is right. Like one of my best mates, like those friends that you meet kind of slightly, you have your best friends from when you're younger, but you meet people later in life. So one of my kind of later life best friends is a huge Arsenal fan. And he is nothing like those people. He's absolutely nothing like those people.
Oh, absolutely. I have some really nice Arsenal friends. I understand what you mean. Yeah. But they're sparse. Oh.
Hey, Norm.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut across you. I don't know.
No.
I was just in agreement with you. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Big up to Norm, by the way, joining the conversation. I'm sure he's pretty stoked that he'll be going most likely to the game tomorrow.
Keep your eyes open for Uncle Albert. Uncle Albert's going to be at the game tomorrow.
Yeah, Uncle Albert's going to be there too. That's what I heard. He made sure to drop that, to make sure to tell us that he was. So big up to him as well. Hope that he enjoys the game. I hope that you all get to see a win along with the rest of us as well. So, what they did to Wenger.
Ian is going to be there. So Ian Mack, he's not in tonight, but he was in last night. Ian Mack is going to be there.
Ian's going to be there.
Well.
Yes.
And he said he was going to take some pics, some snaps for us that we can show.
That'd be cool too. It'd be really, really cool when if he's able to get.
Yeah, and Norman, you do the same, man. You do the same.
Yeah, Norman, you do.
Send him to 12th Man on Twitter if you know someone has Twitter, or if you have it yourself. Get some snaps from the game. We can make it a regular thing. From the home games, anyone that's there, take a few pictures and send them to 12 Man, and we can show them on the game review or whatever, that show. We can put them up.
Yeah. I did mention Quantum Leap, by the way, Norm. I did. But
great
Ian
show.
Watch. The Ian Watch, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I used to love it when he dropped into sports people. I used to love it when he dropped into like a baseball player up at the plate, it's like, and he looks up and it's like the whole, the class bottom of the 12th and all that stuff. I used to love when he did sports guys. What a weird series.
Yeah.
A very weird series.
Well,
did he ever get home? I know, actually, if you watch it, did he ever actually leap home in the end?
I don't know. Ask Norm. I know Norm said he watched it pretty religiously.
Did he ever get home, Norm?
I know they have there's a new Quantum Leap too now.
Oh, do they?
There is a reboot of it. Yeah. There's a different guy. He's like
just leave stuff alone.
An Asian lad that plays the part of the Leaper. But
the other guy made the show. The guy that's in like
yeah. You know what?
Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks.
He wasn't in that show. What was the show he played in? I was gonna he played in another series before Quantum Leap too, that he was pretty good in as well. I can't remember.
He's in loads of stuff. Yeah, he's a real good like character actor, kind of guy who plays real weirdos and stuff.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Apparently, no, he never got to go home. Sam.
Oh wow.
Okay. Wow. Oh wow.
That's unfortunate.
See, that's a truly inventive show. So stop trying to reboot things and just piggyback on stuff. Make your own new shows like people use.
I know, that is very true. Ideas. That is very true. I agree with that completely.
Right.
Well,
JK's in house.
I'm going to do. We are going to do a player and game review after the game. Well, technically yes, after the game, but not immediately after the game. We'll be doing it. I like to do game reviews the day after. Because what I do, at least on my part, on my game review, is I know often we can get rushed into the emotions of the game and kind of like, just kind of focus in on like certain parts and points, but not like see other things that were a part of the game. in part of the the build up or whatever it is, and I like to watch the game a second time. I like to watch it, especially when we win. I do watch the games even if we lose. It's not easy, but I do watch them back even when we lose. But I might hit fast forward a couple of times, but I mean, but I do watch them, and then by that I'll get a good read on a little unbiased read on it, especially because when you're at maybe your local pub, and you're watching the game, you might get rushed into the emotions, or you kind of get influenced by your surroundings into possibly thinking, oh, that was worse than it really was. And then when you're actually able to watch it a second time, you'd be like, oh, okay, I get why you did that, or that was that was because of this or that. So we will be doing a player review for sure. Yeah, Wayne's World. All right, so let's get into some excellent picks here. I'll bring this up here as well. I'm going to show you my picks. I'll allow for Irishman to kind of pick and choose what he would have done different on the fly here. If that's okay with you, Irishman?
Yeah.
Give you a chance of telling, because I know you don't always go with the selections that I do, and I want to be sure to give you the proper be able to give you what it is. So this is my predicted lineup for tomorrow. I have basically a good number of the players that we did see starting as Ipswich. It's almost like a reprint of the starting lineup, except for I did start Ibu in this game. I want to start, and I'll be honest with you, I do want to start Nunez in this game, only because I'd like to see him draw off of the energy. But then again, I could also see him being a sub in this game. And
people saying Jota wasn't in training.
What's that?
People were saying Jota wasn't in training. Does anybody in the chat know about that? Because people were saying that Jota wasn't seen in training.
If that's the case, that's not a good thing. That's not.
Yeah, I was waiting for an update on that because I was watching, Bayesian Pops and Barnes earlier on, and Chris came in and he said no Jota in training, or Jota not seen in training. Now sometimes that just means that the pictures don't show him, or whatever they were watching didn't show him.
Right.
And I kind of looked on Google or on Twitter just to see, Jota LFC. I didn't see. Yeah, see, Pops is saying he heard he was and he wasn't. So so he heard both things. People saying he was, people saying he wasn't. So yeah, I know.
And does anyone know the reasons why he wouldn't possibly be in there?
Yeah, so just say let's just say for the sake of argument, let's just assume he is fit because there is no there is no confirmation that he's out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go with that. I would go with that.
Yeah, I didn't hear about any. I didn't get an update on any injury for Diego. I can double check and make sure, but I didn't see any or hear about injuries.
That's the thing. It was a bit vague at the time, and I didn't see anything coming up like Jota out kind of thing.
Let me see. But again, as I look this up for you guys, I have Diego starting. Obviously, if Diego is unable or isn't going to be available for the club, that'll again be very, very troubling because he's a player that's gotten rest. He's a player that it'll just bring up the doubters and certainly the certain haters as well that will come out to say that he can't stay fit. Move on. Let's move on from him. But especially someone that did score in our first game and looks like he has some form together.
He looked brilliant. Yeah. You don't drop him. You do not drop him.
Yeah.
Barnes or Pops is right. It's too early, man. And I know you're saying the haters and all that, but it's sort of like, well, they can turn around and say, well, is he or is he not injured today? if he is interested. It's like no, we do not need this. We've been saying it like he with a full season,
I don't think he is
to a
interested.
degree.
I don't
No,
think
I
he is.
think it's speculation. I think it's
On
speculation.
the Liverpool FC, they do give injury updates, and the only injury update that they have that was updated as of yesterday, at least, was for Kwanzaa. It says the center half was forced to miss training on Wednesday due to an injury. Head coach Arnie Slot on August 23rd. Unfortunately, I think it was Tuesday that he picked up a bit of an injury, so he couldn't train on Wednesday. Let's see if he can train today, meaning on 23rd. That's when he was giving that update. As of right now, that's the only names on the actual on their official website style
yeah. So we'll work on the assumption that Jota is fit in terms of our team picks. We'll work on the presumption that he is fit. So
yeah. If anything, you know what? If he was or if he isn't, look, I'd like to see Nunez get some playing time in this game.
I'm sure he will.
If he was, or if he's not was, but if let's say he's like, he's fit to play, but he's not necessarily, you want to kind of monitor his minutes type thing, then let's get him in there. Let's see what he can do, and then and then bring Nunez. That's the great thing about having the depth that I believe that we have at certain areas, at least, and being able to say, okay, well then, Nunez is someone that you could see, play that that front nine for us. So I'm not bad.
I'd like to think so. I mean, yeah, but you go through your picks.
Yeah, I know that. I know that I also
comment.
have Kwanzaa still on the bench. Yes, but I think that if he was questionable on the 23rd, chances are he would most likely. I don't know if anyone saw him in training or not, but I do have him as a selection on the bench for us.
I don't like that, Norman. I don't like that. Norman is saying that he said the club are Doak, Morton, and Bajcetic all missed the under 21s, and that all three are for sale, like permanently. I mean,
oh, is that what he's saying?
Yeah, Bajcetic.
I think
Really?
Bajcetic's I mean, at 19 years old, that's just way too young, especially from what we've seen from the player. This is kind of way too young to give up on a player like that, I think, personally.
But is that I'm just wondering, Norman, I mean, is that kind of the word on the street kind of thing? Or is that just what you're hearing around the ground? I'm just interested. I'm not saying, watch your sources, I'm just wondering. I would be disappointed if we did sell Stefan, yeah.
Yeah, I know that you're high on Bajcetic as well. Yes, and Harvey Blair did get moved on. I was just about to put up the sale was for what is somewhat not meager pennies to most of us, but certainly in terms of football, 310,000 pounds is definitely a small number for a transfer, and I do believe that with the add-ons and everything else, it could go up to, and they are reachable add-ons. It could go all the way up to 600,000, and they do have a sell-on clause as well if he is to be sold.
That's
But
Mbappe,
yes, go on. Oh, go ahead, Brian, and then I'll go.
No, that's the Mbappe money.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That's the Mbappe money.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I picked Bajcetic. I was at Bajcetic. I picked Dom, and I picked Grava, and I picked McAllister. I also picked the front line of Lucho. Say what you will about Lucho, but I still think Lucho is the choice at left wing for us. I think Hakpo got on, but he kind of looked, I don't know, he kind of didn't look like he was really in the groove of the game when he got into it. So hopefully he continues to work back towards his form that we saw in the Euros. I have Diego starting, and I have Mo Salah, the Egyptian king, starting up front. What do you have different on this lineup, Brian?
Nothing.
And tell us
Nothing.
who or what you would have different in the chat too. If this isn't your starting 11, share with us what it is. What is? You could just say, rather than have to put your starting 11, you could just say if it is, it
X
probably
for
is
Y
very
or whatever.
similar. You could just say, hey, I don't know, Nunez in for Jota or Hata, excuse me, or you could say Cody in for Lucho, just you can give us that way too, so we can get you don't have to get the entire 11. But what is your predicted lineup, Brian? How much different or how much?
I'm not changing. This is the one I gave earlier on to the boys. I was on their show, and they put this was their lineup. This is Barnes' lineup. This is Pop's lineup. This is my lineup as well. Again, I said basically don't change. No need. Obviously, with Ibu in for Kwanzaa being the kind of the type of change, I'm assuming that he will start. But other than that, I wouldn't. I don't want to change it. It's too early for rotation. It's too early for we're going to do this. We're going to do that. I mean, that team, if they can play like the second half for most of the game, I don't see the need anywhere. I like I'm saying, the idea of a tight squad where you pretty much know 90% of your starting 11 every single week, and it'll just be might be this guy, might be that guy. Like nobody out there other than obviously Jarrell, which Slot came out today and he talked about, kind of played their way out. Everybody had a good, again, really poor in the first half, but maybe Dominic didn't have a brilliant game, but I don't see anything changing other than this whole Jota thing. I mean, to me, they're all, keep it tight, go with the same team, and get guys who know that we're the starting 11, and the one or two maybe changes. The Nunez thing, if Jota is out, I was kind of a little bit backing against. I was going to back against Ibu in my prediction when I saw, because we were talking about the FPL teams and how Kanata was the only person with Nunez in his team last week, who started the season with Nunez in his team. And I was like kind of joking about how he didn't get the memo. Now, Kanade sold Nunez today for Cunha from Wolves. So I was kind of half backing against Kanade and thinking that means Nunez is going to start. He's playing some games. But yeah, he's kind of, she's shipped him out. So maybe it looks like that's not going to happen. Maybe Nunez doesn't get a start again. But I don't see how you dropped it. Jota looked too good. What are you going to say to him? Oh, I'm going to play Darwin because whatever. No, man. If Jota's fit, get him in the groove and keep him scoring goals. Definitely. That team is perfect. I think the team's perfect.
Yeah. I think that there was a mention by Bernie that said that she said that Slot hinted at Gomez might play. That he would play
weird
tomorrow. If that's the case, maybe it could be. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't push Kwanzaa into into a spot of, if he did get a bit of a knock, then let's not put you onto the bench, or let's not even like rush you back to service. Let's give you a couple of days off, and that would be the benefit of having it. Gomez remain with the club. To be honest with you, I mean,
I think she said same North, but he'd no decent offers. Joe would feature. Yeah, feature just means being on the bench, though.
Yeah,
feature just means you might get 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I think stick with that team, keep it as it is, get it in a groove, and keep winning games, keep Jota scoring goals, all that stuff, and then just change it as you might need to be. But
red Orange Heart supporter Ross saying a farewell cameo, maybe. Oh, that'd be hard to say, or not say, but just the thought. That's sad. It very well could be. Very well could be. Give him like the last 5-10 minutes, at least to give
If
the nod
he's
to the
if he
players.
has a transfer lined up, and he's going somewhere, he won't play. He won't kick a
Right.
ball.
Yeah.
No
Most
chance.
likely, you don't
No,
want to take that chance. You want to talk about
no
yeah,
chance.
that's a very
Don't
big
get
one.
injured. Yeah,
Yeah,
you go out and you do 5 minute cameo and some idiot clatters you and breaks your ankle. Yeah, transfers off, dude.
yeah, yeah.
You got to be realistic in the world. Um,
Um.
so yeah, I
So
think
yeah. So
it's
you're
more
going
like
with this. You're going with basically the starting 11
yeah,
right
same
now.
as exactly the same.
And again, if with the bench, is that bench okay with you? I know Kwanzaa is, I know he was the only name still on this injury list as of the 23rd of August. And I don't know if anyone saw Kwanzaa in, the behind the scenes, on the pitch type thing. So if he was, that would make sense to maybe take Kwanzaa out and put Gomez in, but basically keep that same nine as your possibles.
Yeah, he probably liked what he saw from Ebo. A lot of players would be like, "This is a new chance now for me to do something." That would be.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a home game as well,
Mhm.
So we not so much kind of worrying about what they're going to do. But again, Brentford are a good team. But I think, yeah, look, I couldn't change it. I couldn't change any of it.
Mhm.
I really couldn't because especially there's no one on the bench that says, "Oh, I'm fit now," and he wasn't great last week. Say like Dominic didn't have an amazing game last week, right? Okay,
He
fair enough.
didn't. He
But he
didn't.
came into it. But is it like is
They
Jones
all
or
grew into it.
Elliot
I think they
saying?
all grew into it. Yeah, you're
But
right. I
that's what
think
I'm
they all.
saying. But like, is Jones or Elliot saying, "Oh, get me on, get me on. I have to play."
Mm, no.
I don't know, but we'll see. This will tell it because we don't know Slot. Slot is new.
Yeah.
So like
That's
before
why I
with
think these
Klopp,
first 5 games are very important, Brian. Don't you agree or
exactly.
no?
Yeah, exactly. Because like with Klopp, pretty much, if everybody, which they never were, but if everybody in the first team was fit, you could really easily like you could pick his first team every day of the week. You could pick the formation and you could pick the players. I mean, Ancelotti made a point of it. Now, it's sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. You don't need
Right.
to go and spy on Liverpool to find out what they're going to do at the weekend because you know what they're going to do at the weekend. They won't change. They were always the same. It was now we will see what a slot is like. We could see tomorrow, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're all idiots. He's starting Elliot, Simicas, and Gakpo. You know, but we
Uh,
just don't know. We don't know yet what kind of coach he is with this Liverpool team. I
there
think
is by the way, I like Nor's prediction. He's saying he's Mystic Meg. He says it's going to be a 0-0 last minute. Tomorrow Gomez comes on corner, top end. It's played in. Gomez on the volley, 1-0. Now he's woken up. That'd be great. That would be an epic result. And also, if we were to move on from Gomez, by the way, I think it was Bonkers. I want to make sure I give proper credit to who said it earlier, but I don't I don't think that it's too off base to think that we don't put in a offer for a center back, especially if we are going to move on from Gomez. And it was Bonkers. Yeah, he gave this comment. Said Liverpool are preparing a surprise bid for Jarrett Brent. Wait, ahead of next week's transfer deadline, according to the Daily Express.
not reputable.
Not reputable. So there you have it. I don't know. Everton look in trouble, to be honest with you. They look like they are in trouble. We might have neglected to put Deitch in that first to get sacked category because
He was up there.
yeah,
You see, if you're a club like them, what are you going to do? You know, if someone puts 70 million on the table for a kid like that, who, like we said before, isn't your star center half, star center, star striker, or star kind of attacking midfielder guy, you know, it's look, we'll get a new guy, we'll get a new centre half, we'll do
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You,
Mm-hmm.
you really can't. So, but we're not interested in him. That's what the other guy said. Romano said, "There's no interest from us in KK." You know,
Okay. Oh, so he
that's
shut down. You did hear a report that he shut that down. I got you.
oh zero, yeah, nothing. That's not a thing. And Napoli don't want to sell him anyway. So
Right. Right. I
he
think they
said,
didn't they just re-sign him to a new deal or something like that? Or?
yeah, he's like, don't be surprised if we would do something yada yada yada, but
But that's not the one that we're gonna do.
not KK, no. But everybody, everybody is very saying this is not going to happen. I'd be kind of in that boat. I think it's maybe the kind of deal that, considering their financial problems, probably would have been done already. We probably could have gone and done that deal.
Mm, yeah.
Given the fact that they needed money, we wouldn't have been leaving it till now. I don't know why we would leave this till now.
Can I ask
Uh,
you this then? Can I ask you this? How would you feel? And tell me in the chat too. Again, like I know some channels don't include the chat in the conversation. This is not that channel. Um, what? Now I'll try to think of the best way to put this. But what would you be? How would you feel if Liverpool were to virtually spend about the same amount of money on Jared Brantwaite, right, as they did for a Virgil van Dijk? Now I understand inflation and all those other different all those other different factors have to be put into it. But just the number alone, that's the number that most people are going to hear. They're going to say that, and they're going to say, "Oh, it's like you spent almost the same amount of money on this player as you did for Virgil van Dijk." But I wouldn't go
it's
as
a
far as to
stretch.
say this is a Virgil van Dijk player as of yet. I don't
No.
know what his ceiling is. I don't know where his career is going to go. But let's be honest, he's not Virgil van Dijk. How would you feel about that? Would you be okay with that?
No, I won't be okay at all. You think, I'd rather spend the football inflation adjusted version of that to go out and buy an actual Van Dyke now.
Mm-hmm.
So say 75 million when we bought Van Dyke, what, 6 years ago ish,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
That will probably be 120 in today's market.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather just go out and do that rather than buy a young prospect. I mean, how could you spend that money on somebody who isn't like, uh, again, we talk about prices and transfers, but if it's not the player's fault, but if the club believes that the players are worth that amount of money, then he should be a plug and play player.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This isn't like, oh, we bought this guy, give it a year. No, no, no. Sorry, stop right there. If you've
Mm-hmm.
got that kind of money, then you buy a plug and play player. No ifs, buts, and maybes. The only thing is injury and the usual transfer. But in terms of quality, experience, ability, uh, no, he's going straight in the first team. So I'd rather just go out and do that. It looks to me like it is not going to happen in the defensive area.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only the only real genuine talk about anything is Zubimendi, and I'm not even sure we're going to do anything now at this stage. But the likelihood of us buying a centre half, I think, probably would be completely dependent on Gomez leaving. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think there's no chance we go out and spend close to our record fee
Mm-hmm.
on a bloody Brantwaite. Not even a Mark Gay. Just absolutely no
How about
chance. Like,
for what Norm is suggesting? He prefers Inacio.
yeah, I think there's guys out there on the continent, and it's not because they're flashy names or foreign names or different names, but that they are potentially, again, every transfer is a risk, but potentially just as good as the likes of a Gahey or a Brantwaite that shouldn't cost you more than 50, 30, 40, 50, that kind of price range. Like Brantwaite is pure prem tax. That's
Mm-hmm.
pure prem tax.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like United had a bid turned down from a while ago. You know, big money. You know, we don't need to go near that. You know, that's like saying this guy is the elite. He's the only centre half out there that can move the needle for us. No chance. You would then sack your scouting network, sack your data department, sack your analytics if he's the only guy out there, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to go and spend 70 million on him. Absolutely no chance. You know, all over the continent, there's probably 20 players right now that have just as much ability and potential as somebody like him, and you could
Mm-hmm.
get them for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I also like I was putting my opinion out there that it'd be great to see us go for a big name and that kind of quench the thirst of us getting a transfer for those out there. But it also could be good that we if we go for maybe one or two players that are just good players, not maybe not like top tier players, but they're just good additional players that we bring into the squad. That'd be, whether it means for cover or whether it means for depth. That could be something that could be utilized as well. But
But you're with me on this. It's like if you're going to go out and spend, call it 70 on a Brantwaite,
I'd rather go
just,
for Bastoni.
but exactly, just spend 90 on Bastoni.
Yeah, I don't think
Like,
you have to spend 90. I think you could get it for
but
sec. If you
if
put
it was 90,
75 million pounds on the
yeah.
table, I think you could get a Bastoni. I honestly
But
do.
yeah, say if it was so basically, say just like say whatever Brantwaite was,
Hmm.
Bastoni was another 20. I'd be just
Right.
saying just go out and do the Bastoni thing. Like
Yeah.
that's what I mean. The VVD bit. Just go
Yeah.
out and buy that guy because if you're going to spend a huge number on a kid, just spend a little bit more and get the real deal, the finished article as much as you can.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
that's really what I, yeah, no projects. But yeah, this guy is pie in the sky. The Brantwaite to Liverpool thing is absolute pie in the sky. So I couldn't see it happen in a
Oh,
million years.
are you talking about Gomez plus 20 million for Branthwaite? Are you talking about? Is that what you're trying to say?
We were talking about that last night, Gomez
Hmm.
plus money in swaps, and
Hmm.
we were kind of thinking, well, like to me, the Gahey one would be the most obvious. Gomez to Crystal Palace
Yeah.
plus 20 million quid
Yeah, because you get
gets
that's
you
him going back
Gay.
to London. That's him.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
I don't think he wants to. I don't think he goes to Everton in
Yeah,
his
I
own
don't think
mind.
that.
I don't think he wants to go
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I don't think it would go there. 38 million is the buyout clause for Inacio. Um, doesn't sound. I mean, if that's the buyout clause, I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying if that's the buyout clause and we haven't pulled the trigger on that one, then it
Kind
says
of
that
tells you, doesn't it?
yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of tells you that that's not the guy. Because I mean, that's a relative steal. Uh,
Yeah. What are you waiting for? What's going to
yeah,
happen
what would
between
you be
now and the
waiting
end of
for
the?
that one?
Yeah.
Um, Brandon is good in the air, but Nashio is a much better player in every other area. And I'll definitely take a look at that, Norm. I'll definitely take a look at that. I'll look at some of the stats for those things. We had a center back breakdown episode. We could do another one as well. Now that some of the players have changed and names that are interested in the interested parties that were interested in or have changed. But again, I'm very interested in what we can do. I put it out there time and time again. When I hear about I spoke about earlier too, the whole like plan A, plan B, that kind of stuff. I just think that our plan B was always like just, going with what we have. I know people don't want to hear that being our plan B, but you know, it's obviously a possible consideration by not only the club but an acceptable you know, acceptable set of circumstances for this coach that is he says he has some say in what is being brought to the club. So it's not like he's just sitting there and just taking whatever meal is served to him, he does get to put in some items into the order.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you have for? Oh, go ahead.
No, I just mean it isn't definitely. It's not like the Real Madrid version or whatever, which is normally okay because they're buying top players. It's normally okay. It's not a problem. But it will be interesting to know how much of a say he does actually have because they do have the input and they like as Ian Graham said, and Ian Graham was like the head of this shit. He said, "Look, Klopp always had the last say,
right?
And more the way he said it, it made it sound like he had the final veto, as in terms of like he could say no, and they just wouldn't. It wasn't in terms of like he had the kind of the biggest yes, if that makes sense.
Right. No, I get it. Similar to
But he
what
could say no,
like with Salah or something like that. Like I know he
yeah,
initially wanted a different player, but I don't think he was like intimately like, no, I don't even want Mo Salah here. He's
but
probably
like because Ian Graham was saying like, look, don't get it twisted. If Jurgen Klopp was turning around and saying, I don't want that player, then they wouldn't have signed him.
Right.
They never would have signed him. But
right.
They
did probably Brian, could you possibly even say because of maybe the relationship or just the previous history that they had with Rodgers, like I mean, Brendan Rodgers was part of that transfer committee, and I mean, like, if Brendan Rodgers did not like you or he didn't want you at the club, or he would do his way. He'd go about being his stubborn self in playing you in positions you don't want to play in, or letting you ride the pine. Basically, as they say. Hey.
Yeah, what it was. Yeah, I think it was a lot of learning was going on, and Klopp was used to the system, but it was just basically what Ian Graham was saying, that they never imposed a player, they never forced him to take a player that he vehemently did not want. Yeah. I think maybe what it came down to was the fact that the three players on the list that they were going to pick from may not have had his number one guy on it. Which is what I'm saying. He didn't have an overriding yes, but he definitely did have a no. He could say no, we're not buying that guy. Whereas they wouldn't turn around and go, oh, okay, well, this is the only guy Jurgen wants, so we're going to go and get him. Maybe it was more of the collaborative was, look, we've all come together and these are the three guys. Maybe Jurgen's number one choice isn't on that three. More often than not, it probably was one of the three. But the idea then was that's where
because Julian Brandt wasn't like a bad player. It wasn't like he was a bad player.
Exactly, dude. We're not out there going, oh, well, I want to buy freaking, I don't know, name some crap player. That wasn't a thing. Right. It was arguments about who's the better brilliant player that we want to buy.
Right.
And that's where the discussions would have come into it. Now, I think without wanting to make this sound like, because this is grist to the middle to the yes men people, but Arne Slot will definitely be less of a voice.
Problematic, yes. It'll be less problematic when it comes to getting.
Yeah. I mean, he's not Jurgen Klopp. I mean, Jurgen Klopp is freaking Tom Cruise over here. Right. He's Robert De Niro. I mean, Arne Slot is, that guy from that thing. He's that guy who played the guy in the, it's sort of what's his name. Maybe in a few years, Arne Slot will be a big name, but Klopp was box office. That's why we loved him.
There you go.
He had more power. So
that's also. Let me say this. That's Brian saying Tom Cruise is the same as Robert De Niro. That's the same.
I don't. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. In terms of them, I don't know who's famous now. I'm old. Who's a famous actor now? I know freaking. Who's like a big guy now that all the kids would say? I don't know. Whoever all the kids would say right now. That guy from that thing, because they're all on Netflix now.
With his name, I can tell you some of the actors what movie they played in, but not the name of the actor too. So I forget his name. The one guy that played in, he's very
Timothy Chalamet. He's big, right? People.
Timothy Chalamet is definitely big, and especially with the kids, especially.
Yes, there you go. But look, Klopp. Can you imagine? I mean,
maybe
this isn't the problem,
Actor,
though,
the guy
is
who
it?
plays Thor, he's very big too. He's
Oh, Helmsman thing.
yeah,
Guy who's married to Miley Cyrus, or his brother was, because no one's ever
yeah,
quite sure which
whatever.
one it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just think like this isn't in my eye. This going to sound kind of evil and like some of the stuff that I don't like about football. But if you got a head coach and you got 3 or 4 guys out there that are really the best in the world at identifying talent and bringing it to the manager's door and saying these are guys we can sign, and we sifted through all the players, and these are guys we can bring in. Like you concentrate on coaching the team because you're brilliant at that. That's what you're brilliant at, and you do the 90 minutes every Saturday. So
Mm, that's a
okay,
shout
but
too. Yeah.
we're bringing you in these guys. Like I'm kind of okay with that. I know it's a new way of doing with it. Well, it's not that new,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not new on the content at all. But when it's done right and you've got serious people in charge making proper decisions,
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of okay with that. I want if you have an elite coach with an elite recruitment team and an elite football director, then surely that should all work. You don't need a manager who is brilliant at identifying players, a manager who wants to run everything from top to bottom. You don't really need that because clubs are so big now. When
Mm-hmm.
clubs were smaller and more centralized, you could run a club. A manager could run everything. It's like
Mm-hmm.
these days, if you want a manager to be involved in everything, it's like, well, okay, we've got a meeting in Japan about commercial.
No,
Then we
no,
have
it's
to go to
impossible. It's
America.
impossible. No, it's
Yeah,
impossible.
it's
It's impossible.
impossible.
Those days, I'm telling you, there was I don't know if you ever got to that interview with King Kenny, but there was a King Kenny interview, and he was speaking about how like he likes to go to the games and watch the players and like kind of get like again assess the players with his own eyes, and they were just speaking on how those days of you getting evaluations on players like that are pretty much like not happening any longer. Like you don't really get too often the head coach going and sitting in the stands and watching a game.
No, can't
You
happen
just don't
anymore.
really get that too often.
No.
By the way, let me bring this up too. Norm's got an advisory there for those out there that
Oh,
might want to go to the game or ever plan on going to the game. Lots of fake ticket scammers selling for games tomorrow online. Please do
yeah.
not buy from them. Buy from authenticated sources. By the way, definitely do that. Don't want to see you get scammed.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
and
if it sounds too good to be true, look out
yeah,
for
it
them
most
boys.
likely is. It most likely is.
I mean, you can't really. I mean,
Let me get into the score predictions here and who we have scoring then. For our home opener, it's a home opener. What are your score predictions in the chat? What are your score predictions yourself, Irishman? What do you have us getting involved in tomorrow?
I'll go with it. I'll go to 3-0. I think it looks like a 3-0. It
Okay.
feels like a 3-0. It's got one of
Okay.
those. Maybe they might get one, but I'm going for a strong home win. I'm going for a much improved performance, starting much earlier than that. But they will. This is the good thing. I've always said this about Brentford. They play football.
Yeah, they
They
will come
will
out and
come out
play.
and give you games. So
Yeah.
it won't be no low block stuff, which might suit a Darwin, better than a Jota if Jota isn't 100% fit.
Yeah.
It might,
Oh,
that Darwin in behind with a team that's prepared to push up and, take chances. Like Brentford, no, their season is not going to be defined on whether they win or lose at Anfield. So
right.
they can just come and have a go. Why not? They'll stay up and they'll be fine. So they'll come here and they won't go, oh, sit in, lads, whatever you do, don't lose. Nah, come on, man. Go out there and maybe score a goal at the cop end. There'll be Liverpool fans in that Brentford team. Maybe have a go at Anfield, score a goal there. Go out, they won't be
Yeah, there will
afraid.
be.
So
Yeah, there will be some. There will be
they
some.
won't be afraid. I like
Yeah.
playing Brentford. I like playing them. I've always said it. I like playing them purely the Thomas Frank version because usually we get so many grinder games against teams that don't want to play, and they're a bit refreshing. So it doesn't normally work out very well for them, but on their day they can cause people problems. They went 3-0,
So
3 up against Arsenal. No, I'm going with 3-0. So But I'm
3-0.
looking for a good game.
Stick with it.
Yeah, looking for a good game.
3-0. I'll let you think about who you think could possibly score.
Go through the chats. Go through the chats.
Red
and I'll think
Armchair
about it. Yeah.
Supporters got 2-1 to Liverpool. Let's see. Bernie's got 2-1 to Liverpool. Phillips got, big up Philip, by the way. Same score as Ipswich, so he's got it 2-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you have scoring for us then in your 3-0? And tell us who you have scoring in your 2-0s and your 2-1s.
Yeah. I'm going to go with some obvious ones. I think I got to go with Jota and Salah. Salah, again, he's just so inevitable, really. You know, it's the first game of the season at Anfield.
Yeah.
I think he's a nailed on. Jota, if this is what we want to see, him scoring 2 in a row and then just kicking on from there.
Mm-hmm.
So who else? I'll give it to Trent.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Mo,
Jota,
off
and Trent.
a free kick, or is it off an open play?
Yeah, off a free kick. Yeah, off a free kick. Yeah,
that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Let's see. Red Armchair Supporter says he's got Diego, Mo, and Abomo. Right? Is that how you say his name? Right?
Mbuemo, yeah. Everybody's hot on Jota and Mo.
Mbuemo.
I like to see it. Salah and Jota to keep it going. Start off the season, score home and away, and just keep banging in the goals. That'd be brilliant.
Their center forward is on good form too. Visa. He was like, I think
looks like they're trying to get rid of Tony.
They're like, again, their center forward is playing well at the time, and he was, I think, because he was on the fantasy football like team of the week or something like that last week. Let's see. Oh, that's just about center halves from. So I thought maybe Jimmy has a 3-1 to Liverpool. Okay. Yeah.
Mo and Lucha for Bernie.
Is that who? I didn't see Bernie's comment.
Mo and Lucha. Yeah.
I see it right there. She's going Mo and Lucha. Got you. Nice. I like it, Bernie.
Could be some space for. Could be some space wide if they play with 3 at the back.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. If they play a 3-5-2,
sometimes sometimes they do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They move that player up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am thinking. Jeez, because Brentford does have some. You're right. They do like to play. I would like to see us get a clean sheet. I would like to see us get more clean sheets this year than anything.
Ali and Verge are both fit. A home clean sheet is looking good. I still think it's looking good.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get the clean. I'll go with the clean sheet. And I'll go with. I really want to say 4-0, to be honest with you. I know that's a high score. I know that's like us dominating. I just have a feeling that Lucho will score. I like your shout for Mo, but I have Lucho scoring. I have Ibu scoring off a corner. He hasn't scored in a long, long time, and I think that this would be like.
It's been a while, man.
Yeah, and I think this will be another an opportunity for him to kind of like be like, hey, I need to be in this first team lineup list more often.
I saw him score. I'll just quickly interrupt you. I saw him score from a corner about a couple of months after he joined us, and he just sort of like walked into the box and just pushed people out and just nodded it, just dominated everybody.
The one against City, you mean?
Do that every week. Yeah, why can't you do that more often? He just walked up and went, get out of my way, bang.
Yeah.
Not that he completely dominated everybody in front of him. I was like, what, this
Yeah.
guy's
We've been getting a lot of corners. That's why, like, we've been definitely, we
yeah.
get, for the number of corners that we get, we need to get some better, better
Oh man.
results.
If Virgil had end product, he'd have about 20 goals a season. I'm only joking. But yeah, the amount of headers, clean, free headers that Virgil gets from corners, he could score, obviously. Yeah.
Lucho,
Jota, no.
Ibu, and I'll
Jota?
go with a brace from Darwin.
Oh, how cute.
Why not?
How
Cute, I know. Yeah. Showing my Nunez, my Nunez army love. Still loyal to the Nunez army.
Well, let's see if he gets on the pitch, if he starts.
Yeah.
You know, if he's
I mean,
starting the game on 90, he's got a good
He can
chance.
score a punch in a short span. We see him scoring.
But I was working off the same criteria as from the team pick, assuming that Jota is fit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm assuming Jota.
I'm thinking that Nunez, if Nunez does get, reason why I picked Nunez for a brace maybe is because maybe, just as you said, maybe they're pressing, they're pushing forward, trying to get a goal. They're not going to be able to just, if they go down early, they're going to have to press and push forward for a goal to get one back, if not two back. And at that point, I think that, that back line, if it is a back three, as you suggested, might be at a little bit of a tired spot, and you have the pace and the intensity of Captain Chaos, as some people call him, but as I like to call him, the ambassador, getting opportunities to really,
But this is the thing:
hit
if
the
he's
post
on
a couple of times and then eventually head one in.
But I mean, it's a big call now for a manager. I think he's kind of pulling that "I didn't buy him" trick to a degree. He's going to say my best three is Jota, Lucho, and Salah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't have to start Darwin. I didn't buy him.
Mm-hmm.
He can say, "Look, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to drop Jota?" He scored and he scores again. Like,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
Technically, he didn't buy any of these players. Yeah.
Well, of course, yeah, but he can pull that kind of like, "Why do you want me?" Sort of.
Yeah,
doesn't.
I totally get what you're saying. Yeah, he could be trying to make a definitive statement to the club as to, like, if there's players, these certain players are players that are
don't fit my remit or my whatever, then yeah, they can't turn around you. Well, you said go and get him from Sporting for 60 minutes, whatever,
right.
Or Benfica. He's got that. So I think he's quietly, again, this is nothing around Darwin can happen quietly. Nothing at all. But this is quietly, I mean, like, I'm just someone who deals in facts. So didn't play last week. If he doesn't start next week, or if he doesn't start tomorrow, and then let's watch where this goes, is what I say. That's all I'm saying.
I think the situation was
one
different.
Game against him. One game
last
against
week.
him.
Yeah, I think
one game.
last week.
That's why you saw
Trent being subbed out for Bradley. I think that was more like, solidifying not only the workload but also solidifying a more defensive presence.
But also you can bring on 5 players and he didn't get on the pitch. So again, we're dealing in facts. He didn't get on the pitch. So if he doesn't start tomorrow,
there was only 4 subs that were made. I get that. There were
last three games of the season he was dropped for Gakpo. First 3 games he was dropped last season. He didn't get on until the red card at Newcastle. Scores 2 goals, gets to see. So again, let's see.
We'll see. We shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Because don't worry, it won't be quiet. Whatever it is, it won't be quiet.
Right. All right. Yep. Yeah. My wild card would be a Gravenberch goal. How about that too? But that would be my wild card.
We might even get a pen. Hopefully, we get a pen in the first game of the season.
Yeah.
That's
how you get your Salah goal.
Yeah, we get no. I just mean we start off the season with no injuries, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to Anfield and where we never get penalties, and we get a penalty, which would be nice because we'll probably deserve one attacking. So it'd be nice to get the season off to no injuries. We're getting a penalty. Some things are, just a different vibe around the place. But to be honest, I kind of expect us, outside of the predicting thing, because it's the way it is, I expect us to absolutely smash them tomorrow, regardless of the score. I think we're going to go. I think we're going to play really, really well tomorrow.
Yeah, I get you. I know, and I get you. I definitely get you, Jimmy. You're right too. I Brentford does at times has played us very well. They do have a goal in them every once in a while, but I think we
good manager. He's a good manager.
Yeah,
He's a good tactical manager.
I'd have to look at our last, I think we've beaten them pretty handedly the last couple of times we played them, though. I don't know what our
they keep you on your toes, is what I'll say about them. Even if you're 2-0 up against them, they'll be attacking you. They're just one of those teams. They keep you honest, as it were. You have to be, you can't just sit there and kind of beat them. You have to be on your game, because they won't stop. They have a plan. He is a good manager, and he'll know where our potential weak spots might be, and he'll exploit them. That's what smaller club managers do. And
last time we played
it's interesting.
Last time we played
no Tony though.
4-1. We won 4-1 last time we played them, and then we won 3-0 the time before that. Then we won 1-0, 3-1, 3-0. The last time they actually got a result from us they won 3-1. Excuse me, they won 3-1. So that was the last time they got a result.
Yeah, good. Good games, open games. I like open games. We all like open games. We don't like techie little, low block versus, you just like an open game. As long as you win it, it's fine, But looking at those results, that kind of tells you the story, isn't it? There's never a 0-0. It's not a 0-0 type of matchup. It's always a goals type matchup.
It's definitely not. It's been a while since it's even been. There's only been in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the last 6 games, there's only been one game where only one goal was scored in it. There was only
see.
So there's definitely
when is the last time we had a 0-0? We don't even we as a club we don't really do we give you one.
Other than I think maybe the last time is probably was especially at Anfield was
we always scored Anfield. Yeah, Man United, exactly. Yeah, we always scored Anfield. So it'd be great to get it off with 6 points and some nice little kind of markers set down, like I was saying. It would be brilliant to have Mo and Jota both score in the first 2 games. That's really good. That's confidence. That's okay. These boys aren't Jota's here. He's fit, and Mo isn't winding down some last year goodbye party. No, he's already on it from minute 1.
Yeah,
a goal and assist.
Yeah,
another goal and assist at Anfield. It's Mo is already now favoured for the golden boot or most goal contributions already after 2 games up at Haaland. That's what I want to see.
I ask you this then: who this is a chat? It's just a different question. It just popped to my mind. Who do you have scoring first? Who breaks the seal on our goals tomorrow? Who's going to be the one that gets the party started?
Mo.
Yeah.
Mo. I think Mo is...
With a pen, possibly?
Mo is fired up. No, not even that. I think Mo is fired up, man. Okay. I think Mo is on, the opposite of, last week at work. He's actually... No, it's first day at work.
Mo. Yeah, Red Armchair supporters said Mo, too. I'll start trying to do that more often. I'll say, who's going to be our party starter? Who's going to get the party started for us? That'll be the question I'll start asking nowadays with the who do you think, and that'll be who do you think is going to score first for us?
Yeah.
Mo, Bernie says as well. Yeah, it looks like the consensus is Mo. Okay, just asking.
I mean, if you're asking someone who's going to score better, but it's usually a decent bet.
Yeah. I'm going to say Lucho.
A decent bet.
But we'll see. Yeah. But Mo is Mo is
it's
a
usually a decent bet.
prominent shout. Definitely.
Yeah, if you're going to actually put some money on it, then he's usually a sounder bet than
Oh,
most
for
players in
sure.
the Premier
For
League.
sure.
So if you're putting your cash on it, that's what mine would be on.
Yeah, for sure. Quick question before we bounce out of here, because we're just about to land the live bird on the runway here. Red Armchair Supporter says, why do you think Saudi clubs didn't come back for Mo this year? I honestly think that they understand the fact that Mo is going to make the decision himself as to what happens. I think that if we were only interested in the money, we would have went for the offer last year, which was a lot of money for a player that only had like 2 years left on his deal. That's just my opinion, but I think that with the case being, I think with a lot of these players, said it before, I'll say it again. I think a lot of these players, whether it is less so with Trent, but more so with Mo and with Virgil being at their age and being at their stage of their careers, I think that it gets down to them doing their own personal assessment of the team as to how the team has bonded with the new coach, what they think their aspirations are, their viable aspirations are for getting titles or silverware this year are, and if the future looks bright, if it doesn't, they'll make a concerted effort to say thank you for your time, but maybe
Trent,
my time is done. So that's just my assessment. Irishman, you want to give a shot?
With Trent, that's
Or
a
just
different.
With Mo. I
No,
know I
oh
lumped
no,
all
yeah, with
three
Trent.
together, but
Oh yeah.
but
With
he was
Trent, I
talking
think
about Mo.
I'd agree with
I'll bring up the
what you're saying
question.
about. No, no, it's cool. I just think with Trent, I think you're right. There might be a little bit of let's see what's happening. Again, I don't think that's right, but I mean, I don't think that's the way it should be done. He should be signing up or whatever. It's too late to be hanging around. I think with Mo and with Virgil, this comes down to money, really. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, it all comes down to money. And as a free agent, someone like Mo Salah
Mm-hmm.
can really change his life. I mean,
Absolutely.
his life is utterly transformed the day he became brilliant at football. But he can
Mm-hmm.
really, really change his life doubly so as a free agent. That's why these guys are running down their contracts. That's not VVD, not just Mo. That's why a lot of top players these days are taking that gamble
Yeah.
um, to run down their contract to a
Yep.
free agency like Mbappe. Whereas,
Yep.
like we said earlier on,
Hold on.
Mbappe could break his leg the week before he's due to sign Real Madrid, and that deal is off.
Right.
But because these top guys, have made so much money already, they are now prepared to take that gamble. Back in the day, it was always about having
Yeah.
2 years left on your deal. You
Yeah.
always wanted to have 2 years left on your deal. So you could say to your bank manager, like this, say back in the day when you were earning 200 grand a year, 500 grand a year, you could say to your
Mm-hmm.
bank manager that you need a mortgage. I have a contract for 2 years.
Right.
You can say
Right.
to your wife, you can say, this was
Right.
like
No, I know exactly
most
what you mean.
players.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a job for 2 years. It's like, oh, hang on, your job finishes tomorrow. What's your income after that? Zero. Well, you're not getting a mortgage. You're not getting a loan for house. People actually forget. Even footballers not that long ago used to have to get mortgages. They couldn't just go walk into an estate agent, put 3 million quid on the table and go, I'll buy that fancy house. No, they actually had to
Yeah.
get loans. So
Yeah.
having the security of a long-term contract told your family, told your accountants and all that you have security. It was always about security. That's why they always
Mm-hmm.
wanted to extend their deal as quickly as possible. Now the landscape in football has changed to a degree where some of these top guys that should be going for the big money are so secure that they can
Mm-hmm.
actually take that gamble, run their contract down, knowing that that contract is the difference between them getting 10 to 20. Now, Mbappe got 100 million signing on fee, but maybe a 10 million signing on fee. or an 8 million. Now that's just a straight up lump sum. That ain't no wages. That's just a straight up lump sum signing on fee. That you're not going to get that if you're on a transfer.
Right.
So this is why some of these guys are looking at that. Virgil knows double my money as a free agent. Mo, double my money as a free agent.
And you
now,
get to
Trent
pick,
is
and
a
you get to
different one.
pick where you want to go. Period. Like you get to decide
everything.
where you go.
You are exactly. You
You
are
get to
fully
decide.
in control.
Not
now. Again, you're taking that risk.
Pushing, like an arranged marriage in front of you. You get to push where you want.
No, of course you're taking that risk. That, like you said, people were talking about last night. You were talking about the Chicken Little thing. You are taking that risk. Okay, well, I get injured in training tomorrow and I'm out for 8 months.
Right.
But these guys aren't thinking like that because they have enough in the bank.
Yeah.
So the bigger guys now can turn around to a club and go, no, sorry, I'll go. I'll go next year. Not that I need. Back then, give me the 4 years. Give me the 4 years. I'll take it now. Sign me up. I need that. I need that security. Now they're playing the game. They're playing the market, and I think so. Really, with Mo, it's just he knows his value and he knows how to make the most of it as an aging footballer when he leaves. Not but the same with Virgil. But Trent, I think, is completely different. Virgil and Mo at their
different stages.
But still, Bernie. But still, they are at the age they're at, and they won't always be.
Let me bring up what her statement was, and then to give proper context. Bernie says, and I want to bring up Norm's statement before we bounce to. Interesting interview with Burge, and he was talking about two American sportsmen in their late 39s and early 40s, and 40s and something has a Verge has a personal physio and a chef, which a lot of the players all do have like that.
They all do, yeah.
At least the upper elite players do at least, and sometimes even the depending on, sometimes the club will even pay for that, to tell you the truth. But she thinks they want to play on if they are fit.
They're not looking to retire. They ain't looking to retire, but they're looking at that and going, well, if somebody offers me £1 million a week at the age I'm now at, 33,
right?
I'm not the kind of guy who, like, I think a Moussa Diaby could have said, look, I want to stay. I can, like you said before, he doesn't need to go and get that big money. He can go and get that when he's 32 or 33. They can stay in Europe and win all the trophies that they want to win. There's no need to go to Saudi at this age because they're fit and all that.
Right.
So I just think now, like back in the day, most guys maybe would have had to retire, with an injury or fitness around 32 to 34. Now these guys have this huge, ridiculous opportunity that's been opened up to them that would never have existed before.
Oh, absolutely! You can push your career that much longer, right? You can push your career that much longer because of,
but actually get paid more.
Yeah, the opportunities of America, the opportunities of Saudi Arabia, the opportunities that exist maybe in their hometown, maybe the club that they used to play or that they grew up loving as a child. Can offer them some type of
mainly
contract.
Saudi Arabia, but mainly Saudi. The guys we're talking about, it's the Saudi thing. It's like going over there and getting like I'm saying, some of these guys can basically retire from top level football, like Red's saying, and and get a bigger contract.
There's another question. There's another guy that's starting. Sorry.
I was just saying they can actually go and earn more money, which is the insane bit. Like before, they might be able to go and get a contract, but now they can actually go, oh no, but these guys will actually pay you more than you're at Liverpool, and you're basically finished at the top level. That's changed the landscape completely. I'm not worried about the
Well, no, this is why I was going to bring it up. Right. Again, before we bounce out of here, I wanted to bring up Norm's question, and it was, when Robertson goes forward, we will need to watch that Brentford don't win the ball back and get YNWA in that space. The reason why I brought up that statement was because in yesterday's debate, I was also told that Virgil van Dijk's over the hill. I was told Mo Salah's over the hill. I was told
far away.
I was told Andrew Robinson is old and he's over the hill.
That's going to be news to Robbo.
That's got to be news to Robbo. But again, there were some chicken littles out there, and and these certain chicken littles were calling Robbo washed and done, and said that Robbo is old. And we need to move on from it.
I wish I was Robbo old.
I wouldn't mind being Robbo at this moment. Yeah. But yeah, do you agree with that though? Do you think that in the chat real quick? I was the streets have arrived. The streets have arrived. How interesting. I bring up Robbo and the streets arrive.
Yeah.
Because they were dissing the streets, aka Rasta Crabs. Boy, Andrew Robertson, they were putting him on Front Street and basically just.
Do you not want to be there? Is that not somewhere you want to be? No.
Oh man, I was asking for him. I felt I was like, sometimes I feel like we're told you'll never walk alone, but at times you kind of do feel alone. Because I was trying to say, Robbo, old, Robbo, washed, done, finished. Come on, brothers and sisters.
Well, I was on their show about a week and a half ago, and it was a quick thing that was thrown out and said, who starts left back? And I said, everybody fit, Robbo.
Yeah.
And there was a load of Simicast kind of shouts out there because he done really well in pre-season.
Sure, which is understandable.
And I was like, yeah, cool. Everyone said so. But look, I was saying, hey, look, I haven't seen pre-season like everybody else has. So cool if everyone's saying that. But to me, I just still thought he's still the man. He's still the guy this year, at least this year. I don't see anything that Simicast has done, that's jumped him above or beyond a fully fit and a fully, match in match rhythm Robbo. If we're playing with a left back, so to me, it was a silly question. Not a silly question, but an obvious answer. But I think there's a lot of, for some reason, an eagerness to see some people move on. For some reason that they don't need to move on. These are the guys that you really, really miss when they're gone.
They are.
They really are. These are the guys that you really miss.
Right. People act like these players, especially some of the levels these players have achieved and are holding on to, as if they're so easily replaceable. No
one is saying play them till they're 40. No one is saying play them while they can still do the job, and it's not doing the job to a high level. You don't. It's very much baby with the bathwater a little bit. Yeah. These guys are still able to do it. Yeah, Crab. I mean, I've been saying, look, this is the stuff. Like, I've had to temper my stuff a lot on YouTube because you can't be kind of a bit of a dick about somebody, because then you hear about it for 10 years. But yeah, Costas is nowhere near Robbo. Come on. Let's be honest.
He's not, yeah.
Costas is nowhere near Robbo.
Has proven to be able to, have his moments. He's been proven certainly.
He's okay.
Yeah, certainly proven to fill a role here and there. But to say that I'm going to say that you want to make Simicast your bona fide number one and move on from Robbo, that's a little bit.
Have you not been watching?
Yeah, that's a little bit far-fetched. And that's why when you hear these takes sometimes from these chicken littles, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, man, you got to pump your brakes, bruh.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Rasta. It's exactly what we talked about. There was people, because Trent had been injured for a while, and like me, they hated the inverted thing. Bradley had a few good games, and it was like, do we even need Trent?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I think Philip says it well. Robbo may be past his best, which is understandable because I mean, there are parts and points when he could say he's past his best, but if Robbo was if his best was 100, even though he's not maybe at 100, being at 92 or 94 is still exceptional, and that's why it's like it's one of those cases where his even Robbo not at his best is better than good majority of what you would be getting from other players in the league, even outside of the league. And again, I just don't understand sometimes the outright disrespect some of these players get at the drop of a dime.
I would just say that Robbo is almost certainly past his peak as a footballer.
Yeah.
Like he's probably either just reached or just past his peak.
Right.
Like his peak.
Robbo's not going to achieve a new plateau or a new peak or something.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't mean
level, right.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that he's not still. I mean, again, maybe he comes from Hull. He's costs a few million quid. Oh, he was only good under Klopp. He was only just a runner who could cross a ball.
Right. He's only a system player. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But to me, again, he is still just a. He is the guy that will always just be a left back. He's not someone I ever see transitioning to be, a centre half as well. I don't think.
That was a difficult. That was probably a very difficult. I mean, again, I know that was probably a very difficult, transformation that he had to go and try to perform last year by playing a virtual, left center back and still sometimes bombing forward as a left back and then also playing as a defensive left back as well and wearing multiple hats. That was not an easy role. I know that now as of late, we've seen the fullbacks play more as what we saw them play under the early stages of a Klopp system, which is just primarily playing on the wing. But yeah, I'm still optimistic that we can get some exceptional play from our Scotsman.
Oh yeah, he's again, like I say, you get rid of somebody like him who, I mean, when is the last time he had a bad game?
Yeah,
it's one of those things. Okay, when is that? The guy just doesn't have bad games.
Yeah,
like really. Oh Jesus, this guy was like that's what you miss when that's something like you got to bring in someone. You can't discount it. Absolutely, you can't discount it.
Yeah, definitely so. So let us say this. Big up to everyone that joined us today. We're coming on the 2-hour mark. Big up to the streets was in the house. We had Philip. We had Red Armchair Supporter, or as Brian likes to say, Red, or as I like to say, Ross. We had obviously one of our Reds, Jules, in the house. We had Bernie here. We also had Norm here, Bonkers. Jimmy was in the house, MK Toe, Richard. I think did I miss someone? Obviously, Pops, Bonkers. JK was here early and early. Michael Corleone was in here was in early. So
Hash,
and Hash. Hash and Dara was here. A lot of good names, a lot of good people. MK Toe, I think I did say that. Big up to each and every one of you, each and every time. Oh, Quasi, I forgot we got the call from
Sub call on us.
Yeah. So and Alexander was here too. I don't know if Hyler was here, but I know Realism Jarrett was here, Redbird was here, John Conway was here, Edward was here. A lot of good names out there, and those that didn't exactly join the chat, but actually were just chilling and watching in the background. Big up to each and every one of you, and also big up to those watching this on the replay to kind of get our score predictions and try to hold us accountable to to the statements that we say. Trust me, I already know that there are those out there that will try to hold receipts on all of us. Trust, I got the receipts. I got receipts for those out there too, as well. So so again, big up to each and every one of you, each and every time. I'd like to thank Brian for joining us today. Is there something you want to say to people before we bounce out?
No, just enjoy the game tomorrow, pretty much, and see you Monday, I suppose. Yeah, we'll see you Monday.
All right. As Matthew McConaughey would say, right? And as I would like to say, and I think many of you as well, up the Reds, people, up the Reds. Until tomorrow, or until Monday, actually. Until Monday and possibly tomorrow, but definitely Monday. All right? We will see you soon. Up the Reds and take care.